¿Qué onda, gente? Hace 10 minutos que estoy sentado en la pantalla del menú del juego. Es increíble la buena que es la música de esta sección. Te atrapa de tal manera, creo que lo he dicho en cada uno de los puntos de stream, pero es que estás literal por 10 minutos simplemente sentado escuchando esta música. Es hermoso. Es simplemente hermoso. Es mi estilo de música esto. Me reba. Es una desgracia. Ah, lo tengo en el mango. Ah, lo tengo en el mango. Pensé que lo tenía más bajo. No, debería estar más fuerte inclusive esta música. Pero no puedo quedarme simplemente 2 horas acá, así que voy a tener que continuar. Bueno, a ver si podemos progresar en la historia, digamos. 35 millones de tareas tengo, boludo. ¿Dónde estaba? Yo tenía que... Ah, ok. La puerta del patio de Tercer Willing Rex, pasando el invernadero. Comercial, no. Junto con la denuncia del crimen. Continúa buscando a la persona que denunció el crimen, incluso después puede llevar un tiempo. Falta tu placa. Ok. Fumate unos pitillos. Toca fumar, paga el estropicio. Ajá, extraño culpar a la víctima. Investigación que se llama... Ah, ok, esto, por ejemplo. Ok, vení, vamos para acá, vamos a hablar. Vamos a ir con el auto, a hacer la llamada de eso primero.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Alice, por favor, conéctame con el láser de la comisa 41.
It will take just a moment, officer.
her voices fade out into the familiar radio static.
Gottlieb, what do you want?
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
Llamé por un chequeo que tenía y me dijeron que llamar al láser la gente se preocupa por ahí. Estoy muy mal, doctor, muy mal. Estoy muy mal, doctor, muy mal.
Oh, it's you.
Lo entendí de una.
Was that a snarl or a suppressed groan? No love for you here.
He perdido la memoria, toda.
With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol, I'm not surprised.
Wow, qué buen doctor.
There is no surprise in his voice, only careless superiority.
¿No te sorprende? ¿De acuerdo, algo más?
What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side, you've got a whole new life now. Use it wisely.
Creo que sufrí un infarto.
And you
Sí,
survived
eso...
it. Congratulations. Are you mobile?
Sí, no,
Even
bien.
better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that.
Técnicamente lo del infarto fue
Officers your age
una
have
parte que morí.
chronic trouble all the time. Also, death is a natural part of life.
Accept it. The body is an object, and objects break down. Do what good you can with yours, before the rest goes too.
Creo que se desarrolló una fotosensibilidad
That's
extrema.
because you're hung over. Even the radio waves coming from your direction smell like liquor. Do you feel like your eyes are twitching too?
Cierto, estoy tapando el diálogo. ¿Siente una especie de contracciones en los ojos? No.
Good. It would be an awful nuisance if your experiments with your blood pressure were to cause permanent damage to your vision. A nuisance to you, that is.
Soy pisafuegos.
Firewalker? Oh, yes, yes you are. Just don't breathe in the general direction of your fire feet. Actually,
Ay, Dios.
wait.
No, qué asco.
Do exactly that. Put yourself out of your misery. Take a deep, diaphragmatic breath in and...
A glorious sight. Your body, tired from the vastness of the visions that haunt it, burning up in a flame fed by your own living breath.
Entonces, ¿tú también crees que mi cuerpo se convertirá en la última antorcha en la oscuridad?
I see third-degree burns and a referral to a plastic surgeon whom you won't be able to afford. But that's in the future. Do you have any current, pressing medical problems?
No hay nada que puedas hacer por mí.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body?
Sí, quiero la
You
verdad.
want the real, honest-to-God truth? Stop drinking, eat magnesium and vitamin D. Our station is not a retirement home. We don't have the funds to deal with rock stars past their prime.
So it's political. You're being neglected because of political reasons. The money is probably going to some old, oily...
And no, I don't want to hear a political commentary on the topic. In fact, I got work to do. Some idiot has glued his eyelids shut with cyanoacrylate.
¿Qué?
It looks like Mactorson.
It's not fucking cryoacrylate. It's super glue, Doc.
Supongo que eso es todo por ahora.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
Eso es todo por ahora.
57's over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers.
Nada más aquí. Ok. Uy, esto no lo había visto antes. Como una gran fuerza tectónica de resquebrajar el pavimento como una cajera de huevo. Ah, mira.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi
¿Acaso
is
es,
gone.
¿Acaso es importante este banco? Hay gente, a ver.
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich. Talk to Angry Hard René first.
Ok, ¿y este quién es?
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, all right?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing your ass like it's a girl.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime.
Coordinación, coger la bola y enseñarles cómo se hace.
You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter. You'll make it work. God, this is right. You feel the familiar tremble of excitement and adrenaline that precedes every
El
victory.
tiempo se congela.
Time as frozen.
Sentir la bola.
The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Probably a sponsored ball. yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and scars of victory. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball. West, in the Grand Couronne area, a sharp overhand left from Arsène Luc Edelbrock sends the Samarin heavyweight champion, Kostya Miasnok Kostanica, flying to the mat. The crowd goes wild. Revachol loves her heroes. An embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency. Behold the fear and confusion reflecting in the eyes of the two feeble geezers. They are in awe of your superiority. You are a god to them. Some would still say you're a cop, but I guess we're beyond that now.
La inercia no puede contenerse más que una bala al ser de un arma de fuego. Soltarte. Ser la bala. Ah, la mandó de lejos. Alta bestia.
Merde! Bordel de merde! What the hell is your problem?
Soy un tío del atletismo. ¿Por qué no iba a pasarme nada? ¿Por qué iba a pasarme nada?
I don't care if you are a cop. You do not just ruin someone's game. It's so goddamn disrespectful.
Oh.
A man his age getting worked up like that? Better watch that blood pressure.
No sea mal pedor, sigue estando equilibrado entre ustedes dos. El segundo lugar es un puesto en el podio.
You vandalized our game, son. We can't play pétanque with 5 pool.
Quería que haga el lanzamiento de peso. Lo siento, si sin querer. ¿Estamos en paz?
No, we are not good, goddammit. We want our bull back.
Bueno,
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer? No harm done.
Of course there's harm done, you orange slug. You owe us a goddamn bull.
No tengo una bull, pero se viera esta, sacar la bola del lanzamiento de peso.
Will this... No, it will goddamn not.
Thank you, officer. This is really something. Honestly, I think it's better than our old bull, even.
Mon Dieu. All right, fine. What do you want, officer?
Just talk. It'll smooth things over. Old people like attention.
René, me topo con su cariño.
Yes. The Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the nights. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
He feels like he has to justify himself for some reason.
Debe haber visto algo la noche del asesinato. Su grita directamente al patio.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday.
¿Por qué está de permiso?
It's a private matter. Nothing to do with your investigation.
You see, officer, René is the kind of man would rather die than admit he needs medical assistance or, God forbid, sick it. A real man's man is just gonna ride it out.
I'm fine, goddammit. Mind your own business. It's nothing.
Te vas a morir, viejo.
Just got to cut back on coffee.
It's his heart.
¿Quién estaba trabajando esa noche entonces?
No one. The boss has been unmanned since last Monday. There's no other guard. It's just me.
¿Sos el único? ¿En serio?
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officers, the container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. never had one before René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
Decorativo.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabinier's pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
Ebrard sí que sabe, los grandes cuidan de los pequeños y todos trabajan juntos. ¡Me encanta! Tal dependencia solo debilita aún más a un hombre. O se puede o no se puede. No hay término medio. René no es más que un hombre. Necesitamos un programa. Reinsertar a todos los ancianos en el mercado laboral. Mantener a la gente motivada. René debería alquilar sus servicios, invertir las ganancias, conseguir algunos tipos más, expandirse y repetir. El trabajo asalariado es un callejón sin salida.
Yes. Can we conclude the topic of my guard boost now?
He is not going to become an entrepreneur.
Vi una foto. Ahí en ella. Parecía feliz. ¿Quién es la chica?
She is nobody. This is none of your concern, and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Entendido, gracias.
Yes. Like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps
¿Saben
my
algo del hombre
senses
que
sharp.
abocaron en el patio trasero del Willing Rack?
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement, but this affair has passed me by completely.
¿Y a la mayoría de los lugareños?
In Martinez, the union is the law, so can you really blame them?
Pero no tiene ningún problema con los polis.
Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, I admire the effort to bring order to our streets.
Una vez más, ¿no sabe nada?
If I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't. I'm an old man, not a coward. The daily business of the riffraff no longer concerns me.
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future.
Veo que están jugando en un cráter.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game.
¿Qué le provoco?
I do. Fire from heavy artillery.
Es una mujer preparada por fuego de artillería, ¿pero por qué?
Why what?
¿Que por qué se utilizó fuego de artillería pesada?
Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home.
Espere, ¿quiénes dice que son esos comuneros?
Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose a name to feel special. Senseless sentimentality.
¿Disparó usted fuego de artillería contra ellos?
Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked. Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't so, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
¿Por qué bombardear Martinez?
Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first.
¿Desembarcadero?
Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration in the preceding generations.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta.
Asentí pensativo y dirigí la vista hacia el noreste.
This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Qué linda imagen.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Por eso está todo bombardeado.
Damn right, son. They lit the fire of hell on this city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
He approves of this radical approach, knows it was necessary.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running the place.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame, never finished the job. Officially, the party never surrendered. Of course they still hold influence.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think?
Oh, así como debe ser, los socialistas blandos allanando el camino para que la clase obrera dura tome el control. Las potencias extranjeras limpiaron nuestro desastre y ahora nos gobiernan. Saku, las potencias extranjeras limpiaron nuestro desastre y ahora nos gobiernan. De hecho, esta coalición parece bastante capaz. Los comuns no entienden cómo funciona la economía. Nada, yo no pienso, actúo. Ay, esta suena graciosa.
I'm just so damn sorry it had to be the coalition. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frissel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case.
This royal failure weighs heavily on him.
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with.
¿Y quién era Frissel?
Damn Frissel. He was a king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. He died in the hands of the Hyperlay, in a very public execution.
Mencionó Guillaume.
A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Frissel. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile.
¿Y qué son suzeranos?
The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgotten already? They've forgotten already.
Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. Then he chooses anger over melancholy.
It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the Fifth and rode the cavalry straight into gunfire.
¿Qué tiene este viejo soldado que le hace sentirse tan orgulloso?
All you observe is a veteran refusing to let go of the past and his old uniform. This is not uncommon.
This is the uniform of the Royal Carabineers in service of Frissel I, Guillaume le Lion, and the valiant King Philip V before him.
Don't you mean Frissel the Fan?
You do not speak his name, Craven, although he was a clown. But he was our clown, ours to ridicule and to mourn.
There's something you missed. You will get to it. Don't worry.
Ves a Felipe III cerca de la rotonda.
Ah, yes! King Philip III, on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
Cocaine? Cocainum? Sounds like our kind of king. And just imagine what kind of cocaine a king would have had.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule.
¿Cómo debería gobernar un auténtico rey?
Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood.
Yo creo que un líder debe cuidar de su gente ante que sí mismo, líderes poderosos que no temen hacer lo que se debe hacer. Esto es lo que esto es lo que este país necesita. Como una mezcla de ambas cosas, yo pienso en la vida real, tipo, tienen que ser, no tienen que temer en hacer lo que se debe hacer para que prospere su gente, básicamente. Así que, supongo que vivía primero por esto.
Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that. We could still be there.
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
The Carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve. No one and nothing can change this man's mind. He is as rigid as they come, still in that antique uniform. It's a symbol for him.
¿Ha dicho algo sobre cocaína?
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple nose candy the nobility loved so much. A cocaine connoisseur of sorts. His egocentricity is borderline legendary.
You can't even take responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revachol's finest years.
I'm satisfied with this explanation.
Of course. Clarity of vision. Awareness.
Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court medic administered a dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
Higher realms. Of course, it all makes sense.
¿Qué es eso de las altas esferas?
It's really not. Please, do spare us the cocaine fairy tales.
Yes, indeed. We're not here to investigate the drug trade of centuries past.
No, leemos otra cosa.
Right.
Gracias por su tiempo.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota.
¿Qué coño le pasa a mi intestino delgado?
Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
Vale, pero ¿qué quieres decir con emociones fuertes?
Fascism, Brota.
¿Pero qué es el fascismo?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems?
Creía que era mi sistema circulatorio.
Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link.
Ay no, simulador de fascismo. ¿Financieras?
Yes, them. But also, women. Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place.
Pero soy feminista.
Feminists? No, it can't be. Not you. No one believes this.
Did you know you can forget thoughts? Go to your thought cabinet and forget all about feminism.
¿Me está dando algún tipo de ataque estomacal?
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
¿Por qué pasa esto?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
No obstante, fascismo suena fatal. ¿Qué tal si lo llamamos de otra manera? Como tradicionalismo.
Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking.
Muy bien, estómago. Tengo mi veredicto acerca del fascismo.
You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota.
This is so funny. Seré fiel a mis votos por la gloria de la nación revacholiana.
For the nation, smart. Best not to mention the woo men too often. That's why you're the head and I am the stomach.
No, el fascismo tiene que ver con la industria, la política y la nación, no las féminas. Yo no tengo ningún problema con las féminas. No, el fascismo tiene que ver con la industria, la política y la nación, no las féminas. Yo no tengo ningún problema con las féminas.
Of course you are, Bruta. Of course.
¡Qué en forma de guiño suena de tu culo! ¡What the fuck! Date los palmitos en la tripa. Ay, Dios. Los neumáticos que comienzan el tejado, dice el oyente que se hace porra. No, pues me tengo que echar bomba de agua y no me leche. Este menso,
I have really outdone myself. This is divine.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours. I hope your heart gives out.
René, it's a little pleasures. Life doesn't need to be a struggle. Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day?
Parece ser delicioso, se da el sándwich. ¿Me da un bocado?
I'm sorry, officer, but I really don't share food. Nothing personal, it's just a principle.
The only one you have.
Tiene sentido.
Suddenly you realize how hungry you are. The last time you ate must have been God knows when.
Venga, no seas tacaño, Gastón, es para todo.
Believe me, officer, I wish I could help you, but I need this sandwich to keep my blood sugar stable. In my age, you need to pay attention to these things.
You can barely hear him. The sweet smell of pickles in harmony with garlic butter and marinated onions emanating from the sandwich is driving your mind in a singular
Le voy a robar el
direction.
sándwich, ¿en
It
serio?
must be yours.
Venga, amigo, vamos a compartirlo, por favor. No lo entiende. Necesito ese sándwich.
Fuck off! It's mine! Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a bad way. But the sandwich is mine. I'm not gonna share it.
When the dissidents come to rape our country, he hides. But try to get a bite of his dear sandwich and he gets claws? You're a special kind of vermin, Gaston.
A ver, convencer a Gastón para que renuncie a su sándwich.
A man so
Oh.
principled about his sandwich calls for a principled approach. Time to get political.
Ya estoy metido hasta la rodilla de política, pequeño.
You really do. Now, unleash the fury.
Su sándwich de sangre es una herramienta de los opresores, diseñada para mantener dócil al proletariado. Estas opciones me parecen terriblemente fascistas o comunistas, no quiero decirlo.
Say one of these fascist or communist things, or fuck off. Whoa, easy there, Goldmouth. He doesn't have to say anything. Re-engage cop mode and bail out, if you like.
Su sándwich de sangre.
What? What oppressors?
I am not going to listen to this comic connery.
Huh?
No entiende nada. Mire, camarada, la sobreabundancia que este sándwich encarna es inherentemente maligna.
I really don't understand how my sandwich could...
¿No preferiría un sándwich en condiciones? ¿Un sándwich con alma? Yo tampoco, pero ¿no preferiría comerse un sándwich libre de complejos de culpa burgueses? What did he say?
I would rather just have this one, officer. It's really good.
Pero imagina un sándwich totalmente cubierto de polvo de metal fino de una instalación industrial.
That sounds horrible. You really don't know your way around the kitchen, officer. Food and politics don't mix.
Mencionó a Jean Marie Boulieu. ¿Quién es esa?
Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest woman in all of Revachol. Maybe the entire world.
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. Let her rest in peace.
Ok, está muerta.
His tone lacks its usual intensity, like he doesn't feel he has the right to speak on the matter.
¿Qué le pasó?
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. It was a quiet passage, peaceful.
No, la neumonía. Yo tuve neumonía, qué lindo. Sé que se puede morir de eso.
René and I were both by her bedside when she...
Died. No use sugarcoating it. Won't bring her back. Will it now?
departed. Until the very end she couldn't decide between us. The most indecisive woman I've ever met.
Oh, ¿por qué está
She
indecisa?
could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favorite color, or which one of us to marry. She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married.
No tiene nada malo, no tiene nada malo sopesar tus opciones primero.
Heck, technically, we're both still engaged to her.
Hola,
You
Fable.
always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastries.
He suddenly remembers you are still there, falls silent, and turns away.
Gracias por compartirlo conmigo.
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left.
Dígame, ¿qué sabe el hombre muerto?
Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. But that's all I know, really.
Vamos, debe haber oído algo.
No, officers, I'm sorry. And I really would like to assist. You are both good guys.
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the ghost caviar in the Union. Someone must know something.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that.
Respects?
Parece que oculta algo.
I'm not even anyone.
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone important in the Union. I just know Evrard.
¿De qué conoce Abraham?
Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers. I taught these boys human studies and history in the gymnasium.
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history. Only heard about it years later, when it had already moved on. You don't know history.
The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns to face the sea.
Let's try not to get caught in a crossfire.
Lest we leave riddled with bullet holes. This animosity is ancient.
¿Es usted miembro del sindicato?
Oh, in many ways, yes. Like an honorary member. I attend meetings and parties, help with little things. Evrard, Edgar, and the older debarders all know me.
¿En muchos sentidos?
Oh, yes.
Así que en realidad no es un miembro.
Not in the technical sense. I don't have a vote or a membership card. But Evrard keeps me on the payroll. Just for the little things.
Of course
Okay.
he's not a member. He's not a member of anything. I knew that. He's a Weservein. Turns to where the wind blows and tries to look important. I hate this socialist rabble. But even siding with them is better than living your entire life on the fence. Never committing to anything. Pick a damn side already.
¿Qué cosillas son esas que hace para Abraham?
Writing work mostly. Occasionally, he needs something written, and I happen to have a way with words, people say.
¿Qué clase de cosas escribe para él?
Oh, nothing official, I assure you. Just essays for the newspapers. About Martinez and how things are and how they could be. Evrard and I had these long talks where...
Well, he tells his little pen man exactly what to say. It's commie propaganda, plain and simple. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Gracias, esto por ahora.
No, thank you. forbid.
Eso sí que son unas bolsas enormes. Digan un machote de verdad. Tal vez ya con un monstruo marino. El visor muy está hecho polvo, yo no sirve para nada. Tengo un montón de cosas ahí, por eso makes sense. Una bolsa de plástico al fin. Yo te había disfrutado una de las gaviotas. Este que está dormido. Las cosas que he visto y dicho.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Pobrecito visor.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Ay, vandalismo.
Probably some kids.
Mirar.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onug written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards.
Kuno. No focal.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
¿Cómo se dice? Ventana rota. Sí, tiene ventanas. Hacia el otro del norte. Hacia apartamento que recaba y el parque grande.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible, a half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it, its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind. The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
No se dice demacrado. Sí, superestrella. Los de plástico, los de cristal. No, para, volvió. El touch. I am going to make money. No hay nada más interesante que conseguir botellas para vender. Buscame que la tienda está cerrada ahora. A ver, capaz que acá me queda alguna botella. ¿Yo veo algo de esta persona? ¿Quién es esta persona?
I am a gander and a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
Tommy Lejón. ¿Quién es este? Sigue escuchando.
From another planet. Hey there.
¿Qué se cuece por aquí?
It's the jam, my man.
¿Cómo que una escuadra?
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Arbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck.
Un pifos, tío. ¿Qué es eso?
Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
El limbo, ¿eh? Así que es donde estoy.
Yeah, exactly.
¿Hace cuánto que estás aquí?
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Una locución extravagante, pero me acostumbraré. No entiendo muy bien lo que acabas de decir. Una locución extravagante, pero me acostumbraré.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
Behind the laugh, however, a touch of sorrow.
So tell me, what do you need?
¿Tienes un pitillo? ¿Tienes algo suelto para que un cobrante que no llegue a fin de mes? ¿Tienes un pitillo?
Nope, don't smoke. Some of the other drivers do, though. There's still a few around, waiting for the jam to disperse. Or waiting for the sweet release of death.
Yup, nothing wrong with that statement. Your senses have nothing to add. You left the ask around elsewhere.
Supongo que tendré que preguntar por
You
ahí.
could also check the kiosk down the street. Frit. With 3 T's. Rebishaw's weird.
¿Tienes algo suelto para un cobrante que no llegue a fin de mes?
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work.
¿No quieren? ¿Quién es?
The bosses, man.
No sé quién son esos jefes, pero parece un buen acuerdo para ellos.
Yeah, it sure ain't good for me. Or you. I'd spare a coin or two for a city cop down on his luck. If I had, say, 4 myself.
Cuéntame más acerca de la
It's
huelga.
like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands. No way in or out.
¿Cuáles son las exigencias del sindicato?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane and half the company? I forget what exactly.
Bueno, para...
Good on them, I guess.
mitad de la compañía.
I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like, a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
¿Qué crees que quiere la empresa?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
Algo más que eso.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do. Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
¿Sabes algo sobre el fiambre que apareció ahorcado en el patio del hostal?
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
¿Ocupado con qué?
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
¿Qué?
Nothing. I'm just messing with you, man. Don't mind my idle verbosity.
¿Qué transportas?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Time to arrest him.
Vale, ¿qué transportas en realidad?
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of foul cargo. Mostly sporting goods, tracksuits, and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately.
Entonces nada ilegal. ¿Podría quedarme con uno de esos chandales de fan que transportan?
We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
¿Esa máquina es tuya?
This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
La verdad es que no, he preguntado porque no sé, ha debido ser un reflejo policial. Estos camiones son geniales.
Neat. For carrying large quantities of cargo a long distance. These found tracksuits need to find their way to the kids way out in Wamrau and Laurent Bird's.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry.
Entonces no llevas nada ilegal.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
Vale,
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
¿Qué ves en sus ojos?
In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing. Flecks of brown and gold.
¿Cómo de familiar?
It's hard to say. His gaze wanders southwest, down the street that goes beyond the horizon. The road continues for miles, flowing together with other roads, turning into causeways or bridges, ending suddenly in dead ends, or ramping up or down highways. It forms a crisscross pattern across the land.
¿Dónde conduce?
Above the Jamrock Quarter, in the form of a raised motorway, and then the never-ending sprawl of Forburg, high above buildings, new and old, the air filled with the rumble of motor engines.
Más allá.
To the old south, to the farthest outskirts of Revachol, through the checkered fields of farmland, upstream to the river Esperance, past Montmartin, the border approaches.
¿Qué hay más allá de la
You
frontera?
cannot see. It's out of the city. Up ahead, the mist blocks all sight. A gale blows across your cheeks. It is cold. Before you stands a tall lorry driver with sad eyes.
¿Qué es todo esto?
Excuse me?
Hostia, qué nostalgia, he sentido algo similar a como me desperté.
Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. There's no helping in absence, you know. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am stuck in this shit, so far from home.
¿Qué se siente el escenario?
What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. I dream up these silly scenarios in great detail of living with them. It comforts me. What about you, cop man? You missing someone?
Is that what it is? This feeling? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
Echo de menos mi arma, la he perdido. Estoy bien, colega, no extraño a nadie. Echo de menos a alguien, pero no sé a quién. No, me siento perseguido. Echo de menos a alguien, pero no sé a quién.
I feel for you, my friend. It's bad enough to know who you miss. Missing like that doesn't feel like it has much of an upside. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone, and I know it wasn't easy to ask. I hope you find your way through your own troubles.
Qué buena onda, Tommy. Eso es todo por ahora. Buena charla.
Don't be a stranger.
Anti-Object Task Force.
Desarrollé las fuerzas especiales anti-objetos.
Behold, the Anti-Object Task Force has assembled, God's avenging angel, arrayed against the lower emanations of the Darkened One. Shoe racks, tape recorders, motor carriages, and doors. So many doors. You're not just pounding it all to pieces. You're reforging the universe, from the anvil of the heavens to the worms below. Indulge in it. Be bold. Have an impact on the shape of creation. Out of the furnace of your rage. A new reality. Also, you should trash your room again.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Aún no he pagado el estropicio al gerente.
We should take care of that, then.
Pero no tengo el dinero.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Though he finds this situation frustrating, he is doing his best to not make you feel any worse than you already do.
¿Yo estuve acá? Sí, yo estuve acá.
An old monument stands in the middle of it. The more you ask yourself, the less you know. One thing is for certain, though. Your brain damaged. It's serious and permanent.
Nada por aquí, no, nada por aquí. Ahora señora,
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph. No response. Wherever, nothing. Her smile, no. This one is a monster in disguise.
Aquí no pinto nada. Au. No creo que está abierta la tienda, ¿verdad?
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. The windows are clear.
Ah, se fueron los mensajes estos. Ah, está abierto, nice. No, para. Vamos a vender botellas. Vamos a ser los ricos.
The tear machines. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying jingle. You're a richer man now. You're 100% sure you got special Hobocop money for that tier. At least 100% extra tier money. If the numbers on the machine told you otherwise, it's a lie. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo? You should buy more alcohol. Enter the endless cycle of consumption.
Tengo una cosa que me molesta justo en la nariz.
A small cabinet on the wall is... A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
Quiero cerveza.
Here you go, mister.
Y quiero tabaco.
Here you go, mister.
Thank you.
There it is, a brave little army in your pocket. The 1st Smokes platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you, sir. You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Re-become yourself.
Oh yes, Bratan! Please light up! You need a trooper between your lips right now! Calm your shit down! Go to Pleasureland! Become a genius!
Ahora mismo no me apetece, de gente mirando.
People are watching. What a pussy. People are always watching. That's what makes it cool. Now come on. Get a load of this rock and roll cop hair, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go.
Hey, you can't smoke in here. Please, don't fuck with Frit.
Shut up. It's already happening.
¿Qué repercusiones tendrá?
Repercussions? There's a high risk of glory, with a mild chance, cool, genius. Smoking makes you into an intellectual. Everybody knows that. It only lets you concentrate because you're in nicotine withdrawal. It only mitigates its own. Blah, blah, blah. Boring. Light it up. Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself. The man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a cigarettes button. Cigarettes gives +1 to intellect skills. Logic, rhetoric, conceptualization, visual calculus, encyclopedia, and drama. This is good before a white check, but damages your health.
Ok, gracias por la data. ¿Por qué no me dejas tomar?
Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle of alcohol. Here's where the magic happens. What a solid can of mass-produced piss water. Well over 10% alcohol in this so-called beer. Pop it open before it gets too warm. Wow, the gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it. There's a satisfying pop as the cap comes off, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. You've been here before. Welcome back, detective. You're home now. You see a flash of teeth, a young woman smiling at you near some railway overpass in your ruined past. She is gorgeous, and she is yours. Nothing. Some mental stuff. Nothing to be worried about. Physically, you'll be strong as an ox. The golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things are melting. You're you again. A real cop. A real detective. Incredibly well done.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's an alcohol button. Alcohol gives +1 to physique skills. Physical instrument, half light, electrochemistry, endurance, pain threshold, and shivers. This is good before rolling a white check, but damages your morale. And remember,
from the void we came, and to the void we must return.
Alright. ¿Cómo puedo subir ahí arriba? Volver a entrar aquí. Acá había una banda de botellas, me acuerdo.
All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. It really, really doesn't. Let's turn our attention elsewhere and move on.
¿Puedo agarrar las botellas? Ah, claro, no tengo la... Dame las botellas, dame todo.
Before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. You attempt to turn to your left. The lieutenant, no reply.
Damn. acá. Yo voy a dormir, mijo.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back.
Ay, Leo, ¿de qué podemos acordar el saludo?
Sure, mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as yourself.
Sí.
Oh, hey, mister. I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like we talked about before. I know you're probably a busy man being an important police officer and all, and personally, I think the more people keeping the peace, the better.
Qué grande, Leo. Let's go, my mate. Lamentablemente acá arriba no puedo subir por ahora, por alguna razón.
Yes?
Gracias por la info.
The tear machine stands. Your bottles clunk into the... This trash container with a well-oiled crack. The lock pops open. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't. Of course you should. This is your time to shine, Hobocop. Dive into that dumpster for extra content. There is, but you won't like it. Sweat forms on your brow. Your hand is still on the lid. The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
You see milk, an egg rest with one broken egg in it, some pasta wrapper. Picking up the soggy packages somehow feels familiar. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. There are plastic pasta packages below, and turbo noodles. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. A pair of denim trousers. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to unspool from the garbage, a rank corpse smell fills the air.
The victim's clothes? Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer. Guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The loops appear stretched, but the belt is missing. That's it. Do you see anything else in there? I haven't...
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the food waste, dripping with pus.
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor to conceal it in an urban scenario. Anything more?
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. Just garbage.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. I'd advise against confronting that force.
Sí, tenemos que preguntar a los chicos quién le puso ahí.
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno? He thinks you're an infant or something.
See?
¿Crees que alguien del building puede estar involucrado de alguna manera?
Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked, and this establishment had the key. It's just a small loose thread.
Alright.
The lieutenant nods, then looks back into the trash. It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels, mostly. Unidentified sludge, and the occasional chicken bone thrown in for good measure. But hey, nothing. It's nothing. Nothing more to see here. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. It's shiny. Looks like the corner of something. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly damaged, but you can still make out forms and notes, written in a man's handwriting.
Officer, is that your paperwork?
Nah, no puede ser.
Yes, it is. Look. This plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form.
Mira.
If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash?
Tienen cierta cualidad premonitoria, tal vez necesitase perderla para dar comienzo al gran derramamiento de sangre. Creo que no quería seguir siendo policía, por eso intenté irme de poli por el resto del tiempo. Fijo que me chafaban del estilo.
Officer, this is an official piece of paperwork. It probably contains notes on numerous ongoing investigations, and could even list undercover operatives, informants. I suggest integrating it into your style, for all our sakes.
No sé, tienes ha sonado orden, yo no acato.
I see, yes. You are what we call a badass, aren't you?
No creen tu colorismo.
Tell me, does your badass see more in there, or are we done here? Oh, yes, and it would also be appropriate to start taking notes on the case. It's what cops do.
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory and select the Interact tab to read your paperwork.
Okay. Escarbar estilo agente indigente para encontrar más cosas.
Wow. An Armistice caliber 50 knock cannon. Half wrapped in paper tissues. So shiny.
¿Qué es un mosquete?
It's a giant rifle, and it's very expensive. Not as expensive as that fat string of pearls snaking around the rotten banana peels, however. And is that Cordon Electric's preamp with Electra F2 tubes? It is. That catches quite a price. We're talking 12,000. Easy. Unless you're into hi-fi yourself. No, you won't. Because none of those things are real. They're not actually in there. All you see is food waste and crisp wrappings. All you see is a broken mug with a racist depiction of the yellow man frolicking in saffron. Only in its social sensibility. The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Ah, sí, lo que tengo el mapa. Nice.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much.
Lloró mucho en que pesaba. Mire cuánto contenido.
Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
Es un ejemplo de prejuicio. Voy a usarla como ejemplo de lo que no se debe hacer. Voy a restregarle esto en la cara a cada comerciante que encuentre y decirles: esta es tu estúpida ideología. La tasa será útil. Denunciándola puedo ganar crédito político para enmascarar mi mala praxis. Es decir, fraude y malversación de fondos. Esta tasa no debe estar en la basura. No es más que una tasa graciosa. Es que ya no tiene sentido el humor. Fraude y malversación de fondos.
If you want to earn some change by guilting people, go for it. But if you want to earn real dough, finish the case and start getting paid again. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic board, barely held together by a metal clip. This sad display is made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. There's a piece of toilet paper, or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's toilet paper, desperately sticking to the back of the blue plastic clipboard. It's a metaphor for you. Below the pathetics, terror. Do not look into its blue heart. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your finger and voila! The ledger now looks marginally better. An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing keeping the papers together. A regular pencil, the tip worn down to nothing, has been attached to the clip. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. It's rectangular, sparkling with iridescence. You don't know how you didn't notice it before.
What? Yes, halogen watermark used for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station number and address. The information varies by date of issue.
How many years you've been on the force, he's thinking. It'll have that. Your kill count. Yours will surely have your kill count.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. All RCM vehicles have had lights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine too.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the lights on.
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand, they're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue handwriting. Ink escapes into watercolor patterns, reaching its tendrils across entire pages. The paper itself is checkered, with faint red lines, forming short paragraphs. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves are plenty. You count more than 100 sodden, crumpled up, earmarked pages falling apart in your hands. They appear to be sufficiently organized and extremely dense, if mostly illegible. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. The exact number is hard to estimate due to missing pages and an odd naming convention. But there are at least 20, maybe 30 cases undertaken, not completed, mind you. Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number written on the margins. Yet, still more tellingly, most are accompanied by a name. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Another, The Square Bullet Hole Murders. Another yet, The Unsolvable Case. Others appear more light-hearted. The guys on a couch in an unexpected location, and the murder at the hookah parlor. Even the rare article-free collapsing tenement. Murder features prominently throughout. You like this grimy murdering, don't you? It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. once you're done inspecting them up close.
Que en mi caso puedes emplear algún tipo de convención de
You
nombres.
mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene?
No, me refiero a uno no numérico, con títulos.
Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. In our defense, almost everyone in the RCM does.
¿Y eso por qué?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
Parece que tuvieron un caso los asesinatos del agujero de bala cuadrada.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one, the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
Contar las páginas. Tengo que abrir un caso oficial. Hay espacio.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. The checkered grid forms a structure of passages, breaking the case into subtasks to accomplish. The tasks you've completed flow out of the pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. The wording comes easily. It's almost robotically simple. A language developed for mental rigor and simplicity. Inspect the victim's body. Interview the cafeteria manager. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're done, it seems to say. And you, and you. And a fuck you to you too. That last one cuts a slash right through the paper. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of reality. This is an extremely useful tool for a detective of the citizens' militia. Now all that remains is to name the case.
Teniente, ¿por casualidad ya les he puesto un nombre en nuestro caso?
No, actually. Any ideas?
El ahorcado, las furias habitan en el espejo, el sol poniente. Mierda en un palo.
Yes. I have to tell you, officer, I don't appreciate ironic titles. Other officers will have to use this as reference. If it's idiot or cockfinger, they're not going to get it. They're going to think an idiot and a cockfinger were on this case. So, do you have something less funny?
Fun is outlawed with this guy. What a knock!
Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking too. The Hanged Man. Good, strong name. We have a very good name for the case now. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
Creo que ya he hecho un buen vistazo.
You don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your nose now.
¿Sería capaz ya de leer los archivos de casos?
It's proving to be harder than expected. You just don't have the intellectual rigor to patch the quilt back together. Try again later. In the back, you see thin, translucent copy of paper. Some neon yellow, some bright red, all covered in boxes, like marching armies. These look like official forms, waiting to be filled out. Then rip them from the binder and hand them out, according to type of form.
¿Qué tipo de formularios hay?
3. The topmost are misconduct fines, the middle ones are station calls, and the bottommost are field autopsy forms. Each is easy enough to make sense of.
Multas por la conducta.
A monetary penalization ranging from 20 to 250 real. Severe cases allow for 1,000 real, but that requires special paperwork. The details of issuing these fines are spread out over the rest of the fields. A tool for manipulation. Give the lowest amount and people will be ingratiated to you. These are quite sinister in turn. They give a date and time for the person to appear at the specified precinct police station. Below the call are the criminal charges you risk by not appearing.
¿Eso es lo que me está diciendo este juego? Autopsia de campo.
A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human form, waiting to be filled in. Age, sex, condition of internal organs. color of the irises, predation marks, condition of sexual organs.
Bueno, para porque quiere ver eso. O sea, bueno, no entiendo si fue violado, pero igual.
Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand them to people. Fines for wrongdoers, interview requests for bad guys, and field autopsies to dead guys. What delicious power hid within this pathetic mess.
Ganó un punto de salud increíble, soy un genio.
The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse for wear. Being sandwiched between the board and the rest of the paper, it's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges are rounded, however. The U4 size board feels thick and heavy in your hand. Light shimmers on its wet surface. On the back you see the embossed letters, RCM.
¿De qué color dices?
Blue. The blue heart. Don't look into it.
Agita el portapapeles.
Something rattles inside, ever so lightly. Is there a hidden compartment?
Echar un vistazo al interior.
The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot see to its center. There's pain in there, if you want some. That, with your hands, U4-sized pages hang from the clip screwed to the top of the board.
Abrir el compartimiento oculto de portapapeles. Nice.
The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slides. If you bend the plastic on your knee, slowly, the slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just, you know.
Abrir.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open. Two ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
A ver, cogerlos de guarda.
Two octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too.
Coge la postal.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of blue.
Olerla.
It smells of chewing gum, apricot flavored.
Chicle de... Vale, coque. ¿Qué
A touch of cinnamon, the end of summer. You think the label says tutti frutti.
Aguanta el tutti frutti, eso sí.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy. Throw it away, please.
Sigue leyendo.
Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
Sigue leyendo.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you.
¿Una pareja?
You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it.
Sigue leyendo.
Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand.
¿Me caí?
No. Hold on.
Aguanta.
To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
Carredonda. Jome que gano que es un ending. No quiero hacer tanto. ¿Por qué no guardé? Oh my god. ¿Oh? Excuse me?
There is nothing. Again.
Nada.
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery. Just blackout. Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you. That's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia.
¿Quién es ese?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
¿Y lo otro quién era?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it. Still trying to hold on to the great sorrows slipping in the water. Slimy.
Sí, quiero decir.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
¿Era lo del exálogo? ¿Dónde está caminando el viajero?
There is no Voyager road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on. Poor,
¿Era lo del exálogo?
bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
No, era algo precioso.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape. Its lack of beauty was not the problem.
Para ser me llamo Harry.
Your name is fuck all.
It certainly ain't Harry.
Entonces, ¿cómo me llamo?
Your name is passed out on the ground, dragged around by one of the other evil apes. They're taking you somewhere.
Basta, que arrepentido.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
¿Qué es eso? Está frío.
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious.
¿Delicioso?
Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Ah, estoy vivo, ok. ¿Dónde estoy?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
No, no quiero.
There is no use arguing with me. You will die if you don't. Drink.
There really is no use arguing with him. This is him exerting the reserves of authority he usually withholds. You can't even try to resist. All you can do is... The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself, as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
Entré en contacto con las venas carbonizadas del pasado, teniente. Estaba deshidratado, no volverá a pasar. Yo, va a la mierda. Entré en contacto con las venas carbonizadas del pasado, teniente.
That does sometimes happen. You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
A sentir sin más.
Good.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held slot for skill bonuses. Find it under the Tools tab in your inventory.
Ok, eso es interesante.
Some kind of superstar.
La idea de superestrella. What the fuck is that?
They say the world isn't ready for a rock and roll cop. No one wants their state monopoly on violence to be mixed with celebrity worship. They claim to know it would be dangerous for detectives to rise to the ranks of demigods and have sexual encounters with barely legal cover girls. It would be insane, they say. To all this, you say, fuck off and die, in a cool voice. You people have no idea how good these cops are gonna get. They're gonna crack 20 cases a day. In the future, cops will be like astrophysicists, or prime ministers, or prophets. And you're the first one.
Ay, Dios. Policía del apocalipsis, sí. ¿Qué es el auto blanco? Policía del apocalipsis, obviamente, pero...
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's bit the acidic stench of rotting food has rubbed off on the cellulose. It now forms the base of the experience. This base surrounded by a faint air of spoiled meat, the stuff of death itself, and then sprinkled liberally with the citrus zest of toilet cleaner. Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. Handwritten logs on dozens of investigations date back to January 51. Stamped case files, commit to paper. These are your last couple of months in... You don't exactly close them. Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against the words just crossed your mind somehow. Who do you think? You. It's slightly, ever so slightly, difficult to breathe once you've done so. The drawer is locked. Blue ink drips from the white pages in your hand. Your hand shakes. You're flushed with adrenaline. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his precious carriage. The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The raspberry gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canadian comes to life with a wide growl. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before them.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights. You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window. In the middle of a broken plaza, illuminated in a cone of light, two men, one slim, the other sturdy. They are on the city stage, but only one of them knows his lines.
Ah, Martinez at night.
¿Dónde estamos?
Let me see. Right here.
Concluye situando el dedo cerca de la parte superior del mapa en un segmento de la costa que sobresale hacia el gran océano. Parece agradable, pero es una posible que he visto cosas peores. Parece agradable.
No, it does not.
Mira la reduciente red de calles.
The rectangular watermark is overlaid.
Let me see. Right here.
Parece una posible.
It has its problems.
The rectangular
Let me see. Right here. Oh yes. Coal City. Le Royaume. The burnt-out quarter.
All of them worse than here. There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. Not bad for what? You don't even know what it means yet. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150, at least. Maybe even 200. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
Son, here is where we score your life performance. You better hope it's good.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
18 años llevo ya en esto. Emborracharme con mega estrella. Vagaba por la tierra profetizando el fin del mundo a rameras y mentirosos. Quedan 9.855 días. Era un vagabundo y vivía bajo una barca. Probablemente algún coñazo de trabajo de oficina, como todo el mundo. Tengo la sensación de que iba por ahí disculpándome por todo. ¿De verdad crees que tengo la más remota idea? Oh, vagaba por la tierra profetizando el fin del mundo a rameras y mentirosos. Quedan 9.855 días.
I'm glad you joined us. Not a lot of money in doom crying. Let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see... Wow, more than 200.
¿Eso es mucho?
It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
¿Ves? Kim te dije que era un policía superestrella.
Call it what you want. You were a valuable member of your precinct. Now, let's look at the last row. Right. Those are your confirmed
Bajas
kills.
confirmadas. Maté a
You've
3
got
personas.
precisely 3 perforations there.
Así que soy un asesino.
That's right. A killer of humans.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way.
What's it feel like to kill a man, Mr. McCoy? A young woman asked the man across the desk from her. Honestly, babe, says John McCoy, crossing his ankles over said desk. I don't feel anything anymore. It's just like brushing my teeth. I do it once or twice a week and don't really think about it.
Pará, se te
There's
fue
no
toda la
trace of
cara.
guilt
¿Cómo
in
estás
his
feliz de
voice.
matar gente?
There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
He's sincerely glad you're not a scary predator. Not to say relieved you're competent.
¿Alguna vez has matado a alguien, Jim?
Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however.
¿Cómo lidias con el estrés?
Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others.
No me mires.
Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies.
Hobbies, ¿cómo cuáles?
Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now.
Debería buscar un pasatiempo.
Anything's better than annihilating yourself with drugs and alcohol.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab.
Quizás deberías tomar un trago por los caídos.
If you want to pour out the booze you've been carrying around on duty, I'm certainly not going to stop you.
Verter un chorro en el suelo ceremoniosamente.
A dark pool of moonshine spiked and borscht appears at your feet. The chunks of beat shimmer in the lights of the Kanema. Honorably done. You have given up some of your own blood for theirs.
Siento haberlos matado. Mi crepúsculo nos acaba llegando a todos, pero a nosotros le quedaba más a mano. Lo arreglé con el poder de rock and roll por vosotros distinguidos difuntos. No estoy muy seguro de qué decir en esa clase de situación. Mi crepúsculo nos acaba llegando a todos, pero vosotros le quedabais más a mano.
Very noble of you. Are we done here?
Gracias por la explicación.
The lieutenant nods.
Está bien, vámonos.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
Thank you. Ah, mira, perfil de gente, nombre desconocido, rango desconocido, superestrella 9, procrítico 9, arrepentido 3, oso 1, comunista 9, fascista 4, ultraliberal 2, moralista 1, poli bueno mano menos 8, honor 0, bajas 3, casos cerrados 116, años activos 18 años. Shh. No, la gente está ahí escuchando, va, boludeando.
Can I help you?
Te doy la llave del contenedor.
Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
Encontré la ropa de la víctima.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Quizás no recuerdo haberla tirado. A lo mejor estaba sonámbulo o en un estado de fuga disociativa.
I think fugue states are more your fault, officer.
¿Podría haberla tirado a alguno de tus empleados?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
¿Quién más tiene la llave del contenedor?
The trash collection service, CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threats that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container, despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Hablemos otra cosa.
Yes?
Necesito un trago, ¿me pones uno?
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
He sounds irritated.
Parece molesto, porque yo solo quiero un
Am
trago.
I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this? Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
¿Porque no eres el camarero?
That's right. I'm the cafeteria manager. I'm glad we cleared that. Is there anything else?
What you want is a goddamn drink. How is that so hard to understand?
Creo que no entiendes la gravedad de la situación. Soy alcohólico, necesito mi chute. Venga, es una excepción. Tengo el mono, hombre. Necesito mi biberón. ¡Quiero una puta copa, capullo!
Well, you're not getting it, asshole!
This is a thoughtful exchange, but can we move on, please?
¿A quién le importa un bledo?
Yes. Have you got it?
Me preguntaba si podríamos llegar a algún tipo de acuerdo para esta noche.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Kim está a punto de decir algo, déjalo hablar.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and...
He shrinks back a bit under the lieutenant's severe gaze.
Go on.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
Un momento, todavía tengo la llave.
Good luck trying to use it.
Oh, ¿en serio, cagón?
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock.
Encontrar la forma de entrar, tiraré la puerta abajo.
Wonderful. Try to do that. I'll have to call you an ambulance.
Esta conversación no va a ninguna parte, ¿verdad?
Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this. The man is thinking.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Ah, sí que te haces el pelotudo, ¿eh? ¿Te haces el pelotudo? No te preocupes, yo voy a hacer más el pelotudo todavía.
You see a heavy steel door. The door.
Ay, no puedo hacer nada con esa puerta, en serio. Let's go up. A ver si puedo bajar la puerta. Total, ya guardé. A ver, vamos a volver a jugar en la puerta aquella.
The door is closed. Still, no. The lieutenant gives it. He doesn't like where this is going. You should punch a fucking hole in it. You slam your fist into the vinyl. It does not produce a hole. The door...
Stop that.
This door can only be opened with a key. Still, the lieutenant, he doesn't like... You should punch...
Hey, what?
That felt good. Everyone is a whore. Now punch a hole in the door. Don't. Everyone is a whore. What does that even mean? You hear the murmur of blood.
Ay, Dios. Ay, no me deja tirarla abajo. Yo la hubiera tirado abajo. Come on. Come on, man. Why is he so mean to me? Monedas. Nice. Nada por aquí abajo. Digo, nada por aquí afuera. Oh, ¿no puedo entrar acá? No, no me deja entrar acá. Damn. Ya se fueron todos a dormir, son las 12. ¿Qué hay en el coche? A ver. No puedo abrir el otro lado.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage.
Mira la cabina de transporte sospechoso.
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
¿Qué son estas cosas?
There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
A vanity he wouldn't mind.
¿Cómo que los confiscaste?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official.
Estaba drogado el tipo que arrestó. Así que cogiste los tapacubos.
I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
¿Eso no es corrupción?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
¿Querías poner los tapacubos a la máquina?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Sí, bochornosamente genial.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
Lamento que tenga que venderlos por mi culpa.
As I said, they are useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
But thank you.
Gracias, aprecio tu ayuda.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Dar un golpecito en el indicador del precalentador de combustible.
As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
No, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They are also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
Aguafiestas.
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your copo type.
Espera, ¿a qué te refieres con arquetipo?
Yes. Guess what's yours?
Soy un policía chachi, una especie de policía letal. Soy un policía arrepentido, lo siento, no estoy seguro. Casi que esperaba ser apocalíptico. Casi que esperaba ser la superestrella.
That is only a ludicrous daydream. Guess again. You're
apocalíptico?
That is only a ludicrous daydream. Guess again. You're the...
Policía letal.
No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we? Huge lack of enthusiasm going on in here.
¿No se podrían hacer los otros arquetipos?
What? Jealous of the sorry cop? I think they'll be fine. They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual copo type from sorry to anything.
Pues ¿sabes qué? No lo siento. He cambiado de opinión. ¡A la mierda! Solo yo lo que deberían disculparse.
Yes. Impotent rage and lamentation. Let's wrap it up?
No, he cambiado de opinión.
No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time and begin the repentance.
Te estoy diciendo que no lo siento. ¡Vete a la mierda!
Wow. Okay. Fuck off. Maybe we were wrong about you then. Check out the big balls on fire, cop.
¿Qué huevos tiene policía en llamas? ¿Dónde carajo estaba eso?
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting.
¿Qué estoy haciendo?
Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hair.
¿Qué veo?
Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world.
¿Qué se siente?
Humid. Your coat shields you from the rain while the city shivers around you.
¿Qué es lo este?
Sheets of rain over the water, a flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinaise, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky.
¿Quiénes sois vosotros, fantasmas?
The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows. Will you ever go there?
¿Iré?
No, you are just one of the hundreds of thousands who watch them rise across the bay from Martinaise every day.
¿Qué en la orilla?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs. Cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water.
¿Y más allá de eso?
Coal City, end of all lines.
Pásate la mano por la cabellera mojada.
Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring coal plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the distance.
¿Qué es este?
The great gates of the industrial harbour are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide.
Apretar los dientes para dejar de temblar.
Behind the gates, heaps of supply crates, red and blue metal shipping containers, slick with rain. The Greater Revachol Industrial Harbour is an artificial mountain range. Immense wealth resides within. And La Drusienne, King Drui's passenger harbour. Cruise ships flanked by dock arms. Cranes watching over the mouth of the river distributary.
¿Qué? Cruzando el distributario.
Couronne, the lower middle class. Distributary after distributary cuts the city blocks in half. 7-story buildings trail off into the rain.
¿Qué más allá del cubo?
A silvery curtain of rain over the houses. The class divide.
Okay, queda al norte.
Capeside apartments. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play. A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. Coal leaks into a puddle beneath a dead man's feet. He swings from a tree, bloated. Droplets of rain slip from his cold cheeks. A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in the rain-swept distance above the rooftops of Jamrock. A repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink. Coalition aerostatics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
This rain will not let up anytime soon. At least we are dressed for it. Let's keep moving.
¿Esta es la casa de empeño? No. Ah, sí. Conseguí guantes. ¿Y esto qué es?
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. Pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the situation. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Tira de la palanca otra vez.
You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks again. Nothing happens. The spring brings the... Wasn't there a sign?
Sí, lo acabo de ver ese cartelito. Pero lo hice igual porque LOL. Ah. Ok, supongo que está abierto todo este lugar. Why not? What the fuck?
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Deja que tu mirada me conozca.
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order. It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
¿Cuánto por la flor?
700 real. A bargain, I dare say.
A bargain? No, it's not. He's trying to sweet-talk you into buying trash.
Incluso considerando el riesgo que debió suponer conseguir la flor, me parece poco excesivo.
There's also the matter of rewiring. But the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
I don't need to know anymore. Esto un robotito. What the fuck is that?
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Qué vergüenza, bochornoso, que la poca presencia policial que hay por esa zona.
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
A decir verdad, creo que algunos artículos tienen más estilo que otros. Una colección, puede que yo tenga lo que aportar.
It keeps me entertained.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
¿Está colocado? ¿Qué se habrá metido?
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street. A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Amigo, ¿podrías quitarte las gafas un momento? Gustaría verte los ojos.
Why on earth? These are prescription. I can't really see without them.
There's a note of indignation in his voice. Interesting. Those triangle patches on his vest, you have a feeling they mean something, like they're similar to the halogen rectangle on your jacket.
¿Qué significan los triángulos en tu chaleco?
I was with the emergency relief brigade. You know, after the People's Pile disaster. Had to take Parolidon for radiation sickness. That's what you were hinting at just now, wasn't it?
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
La pila del pueblo, ¿qué es eso?
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too.
¿Qué más puedes contar acerca del Elysium?
We were an all-volunteer force. Self-organized. Tried to help the fire brigades contain the spill.
Tough son of a gun, this one. Respect.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance. Didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick. There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. And why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment. And early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could. No one's. Everyone's.
So much bitterness.
A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? The cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died.
left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Have you tried it before?
It's almost like he's worried for you. The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved. Go ahead then, he thinks. As long as you can walk straight, I don't care.
No, pero no te preocupes, puedo con lo que me echen.
If you say so. Here you go, man.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut. Not so sure about this.
¿Qué es ese hombre? ¿Qué es ese hombre?
Of course.
Tengo algo que vender.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump-a-mesque banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you.
Thank you. Here's the 100 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The windfall is a small consolation.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Anything else you're thinking of selling?
Postal de jardín. No, no voy a vender nada de eso.
Jean-Baptiste's summer dinghy rates is 31. What a pleasant time that was. So, what do you want to know? Price? I can give you 320 for it.
3,20 menudo,
A pin from 31 ought to be priced at 310, but I added another 10 cents just to be nice.
Eso es todo lo que quería saber del pin. Muchas gracias. No, está bien.
Sure thing. So, I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. And especially that tie. It swallows photons around it. I have no need for necrotic objects.
Your mother is a necrotic object! I'm fun! What? Look at me sparkle in the light of the projector!
Another time, perhaps. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business. Bad for every...
No one likes to see what you have to see every day. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
What? Sold? The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. Alert.
Espera, que te vendí mi arma.
You...
With Kim here too? That just sounded really, really bad.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer.
Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
He's not telling you the whole story. It seems he's trying to spare you.
You weren't quiet yourself, officer. You were very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life and that you can't trust yourself with it tonight. And that you need the money. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it.
You sucked on a gun? Good. Very normal.
¿Por cuánto te la vendí?
15 real.
The lieutenant looks from you to Roy, and then back to you. It's clear that he hopes this tableau might still turn out to be. This has got to be the most. Wow. There's pity there too. In case you didn't notice.
No pásate los mejores, supongo.
It certainly does. Especially in Revachol.
¿Sabes si el comprador también era policía?
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
La vieja, es la vieja.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
Miraculously. His face does not reveal what's happening inside.
A lo mejor es justiciera y pretende demostrar que puede hacer nuestro trabajo mejor que nosotros. A mí tampoco me gusta un pelo. Y si pretende cometer un crimen y enmascararle el muerto a la milicia ciudadana. No,
it's possible in these parts of town. We ought to find her and discourage her from taking justice into her own hands.
¿Alguna idea de dónde podría encontrarla en compradora?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union can track her down in time.
¿Ha venido alguien del sindicato de Brad buscando el arma?
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. I told them I already sold it. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know, all sorts of people come here.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
Volvemos a hacer de pedir el arma. Vale, hablemos de otra cosa.
Of course.
Quiero volver a hablar de mi arma desaparecida. No.
Sure thing. Sure, man.
Tengo otra cosa de la que ocuparme. Thank you, mate.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
Buscar una fibra chula en la caja que hay abajo las noticias.
Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic tracksuit trousers that say found.
¿Qué es esto?
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider.
¿Qué?
The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend about a man who rides the streets of Revachol sporting a fawn tracksuit. As you see, he's missing his head. 50 cents. Bargain priced. I'll throw in the tiny cap too. I think he's looking for it, or something. That part of the story has many interpretations. Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Always carry it with you.
That was a very smooth salesman's grin that almost comes off as earnest. Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine. This sounds off. You shouldn't trust this guy. Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks. The kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in a
Franco-Nigerian nights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
A long, long time ago. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
Ni la foto ni el pin, se lo voy a devolver a la vieja.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionaries. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
Al menos es para dar esperanza a la gente, al menos eso podemos hacerlo. El constante pretende ser desesperanzador como debería ser. Es imposible ganar al séquito del capital, sino que se lo digan a mi amigo Garte que me ha echado su putita. Ojalá tuviera más matices, tal y como están no puedo opinar. Es imposible ganar al séquito del capital, sino que me ha hecho su putita. Este es divertido.
I don't like either set very much, to be honest.
He seems to have his own take on the conflict played out in perpetuity by these toys.
Justo mujer acá pone Day, proyecto cinematográfico. Y acá que libre. Es algún tipo de máquina. Okay. We can go out there. ¿Listo? Déjame yo para contar que no tenga como. Ah, mira. Money, nice.
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just wait.
Señalos de control en el muro. Han disparado a alguien, somos policías, deberíamos resolverlo.
There? Those are old.
Ah, ¿te refieres que son de la revolución?
Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law.
Okay, ¿qué le puedes contar sobre la revolución?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
¿Se puede entrar a esta hora? ¿Are you kidding me? Ah, no, parecía que no. No, vamos acá.
The dented yellow mailbox.
Ya me devolveré en el próximo. No en la vida real, en el juego. No sé qué cargas el auto blanco, lo voy a poner igual.
Can I help you? Yes, have it well. Great, perfect. I hope you enjoy your freezing cold room with the window you broke yourself.
You've really worn down his patience. Even paying him didn't help.
The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, please pay for each night in advance. 20 real per night. If you don't have the money, it's over for you. Got it? You've got nowhere else to stay.
Time stops advancing after 2 in the morning. If you haven't paid for your room by then, it's game over. Don't leave finding money to the last minute, however. It's harder to make cash after nightfall when the shops are closed and the streets empty.
Game over. Pero si soy policía...
I'll take a room here too.
Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you? Another thing. Great. I love those. What are you, a cook now? That's none of your business.
Quizá lo sea.
You're not. You're a menace. Fine, okay. The kitchen is closed until 1 p.m. because the real cook is working. You can snoop around after that, if you must.
Hay una puerta trasera azul hecha y misteriosa en la parte de atrás de la cocina.
Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
¿Sabes dónde lleve? Tienes...
No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there. And I don't care either. It's not like I've been wondering about it for 10 years. It's just a frit warehouse, probably. Or some boring storage space with a bunch of old junk and dust.
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference. It's absolutely not convincing.
Fine, okay, a little. But my job doesn't leave me time for wondering about one locked door in one of the cafeterias I manage. So I haven't opened it. I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though, after the animals. And I haven't found a key, so good luck with that. Yes?
Adios. Okay, let's go to sleeping game.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation.
Okay.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically. I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You're cold, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night. You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will, and unhealthy.
Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easy to simply quit.
Yes. It's been a long and eventful day. Well, you were so hungover that you couldn't keep it down when we approached the hanged man. So we didn't even inspect the body. And there's still much to do at the crime scene too. We didn't search it thoroughly enough.
He would have put all of this more harshly, but he doesn't want you to feel completely discouraged. Probably because he's afraid that you'll just give up and keep drinking.
Con el fin de todo tan cerca, ¿cómo pueden esperar que me concentre un fiambre? Todo es parte del plan, empezar desde afuera y trabajar hacia la escena del crimen. Con el fin de todo tan cerca, ¿cómo pueden esperar que me concentre un fiambre?
What if this murder is important? As for the interviews, we conducted an interview with Everard Clare. He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however.
Es un hueso duro, es raro.
Claire also helped you, how should I say, remember your name? That's a relief.
Quiero un nombre diferente, uno que no haya mancillado. Un gran alivio, además es un nombre muy útil.
Moving on. We didn't talk to the Wild Pines rep. We really must do that tomorrow. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a stand-up Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
Sí, es parte del zoom del Jamrock. Bueno, es que no me gusta perder el tiempo, mi mente es muy rápido, el resto del mundo intenta seguir el ritmo. Me estoy entrenando por una carga de fondos, quiero recaudar fondos para la caridad. Sí, así es como nos la ganamos en la 41. No sé por qué hago las cosas que hago en Kitsuragi. A mí no me gusta perder el tiempo, mi mente se mueve rápido, el resto intenta seguir el ritmo.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
Thank you for the compliment. We could manage it even in wooden clogs. There are uncanny running reservoirs in this body. God knows why.
Entonces, como el MSR, ¿cuáles son nuestros poderes exactamente?
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Rebachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
¿No se podría avisar ese poder con bastante facilidad?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
¿Por qué no más?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Rebachol.
Okay, ¿qué más?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station cold sleep. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
¿Y cómo nos aseguramos de que el Estado se presentará?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
When power calls you, you come. But power itself is a fragile trick of perception.
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order. No more, no less. Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Rebachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Silence. A great comment to such a conundrum. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
Si no lo supiera, ¿cómo lo describirías?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world. What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats. Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something ominous. Something even a little feminine. But in a strict manner.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
It is more than that. There's some kind of affection in him.
Yes, I did, when I was younger. In my 20s, I considered myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, a piece of the sky. They're not all that bad, but the years have changed that. I don't know what I believe in now. No, I believe in the RCM. That's enough for me.
Tengo una opinión sobre la moral íntegra.
Do you?
Las cosas están jodidas allá afuera. Nos necesitamos aquí, otorgándonos el derecho a proteger al rebaño. Aquí han hecho un trabajo pésimo. ¿No ves este sitio? Esto no es humanismo. Somos títeres de la mayor organización burguesa del mundo, protegiendo los derechos de la burguesía. Una cuchara en silencio. Inmigrantes, skips liberales, putos, hombres convertidos en mujeres. Pensándolo bien, olvida, no tengo ninguna opinión. ¿Por qué es tan cómico lo de la fucking burguesía? No, aquí hay un trabajo pésimo. ¿No ves este sitio? Esto no es humanismo.
We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes.
A mí me gustan los justicieros. Ya, justicieros no es algo que suene muy bien. Pues igual deberíamos hacer nuestras propias leyes. A mí me gustan los justicieros.
Then you will adore Martinez. For many of these people, the Union especially, vigilantes is precisely what we are. Personally, I don't enjoy it much.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses. The red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as the dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH.
¿Por qué son así?
It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company. Not daring to come here more often. It's like I told you, this place is an orphan, fallen between the cracks. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
Night. Captain Ptolemy Price steps into the yard. A piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag. Seagulls fly overhead. The sky is black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat as he mounts the horse to head home. Rows of houses on either side, hunching over the sidewalks, and Precinct 41 with its dome roof growing distant. Around him, the streets are silent. The kid on the corner waves at the captain as he takes the turn on Petition and Main. The horse neighs. The captain nods back. Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful.
Espera que nuestra investigación ayude a mejorar la situación por aquí. Volvemos a sacar algo bueno de todo esto. No seguiremos cambiando nada. Lo que hace falta es un liderazgo firme que mantenga a todo el mundo a raya. No, espero que nuestra investigación ayude a mejorar la situación por aquí. Volvemos a sacar algo. Estoy en mezcla de... Me cago en la risa. Lo que hace falta es un liderazgo firme que mantenga a todo el mundo a raya. No, es un momento serio. Espero que nuestra investigación ayude a mejorar la situación por aquí. Volvemos a sacar algo bueno de todo esto.
Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes.
Gracias por eso.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Oh, tiene que ser avanzada. This is going to be so stupid. That's not going to end well. Eso no va a terminar bien.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. It's barely covered in steam anymore.
No, tengo botellitas por acá también. ¿No me puedo cagar esa botella? ¿En serio? Bro. ¿Yo rompí esta ventana? ¿En serio?
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in.
Mira afuera.
You see some lights shimmering outside, but it's difficult to make out the outlines of the buildings below. Dark phantoms with many tiny eyes, chaotically arranged and not looking at you. The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside. A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent. More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact. Something you've done before. It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hold almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations, you smashed the window with your own shoe. And maybe, just maybe, you succeeded. We'll never know. Maybe you were trying to smash your own reflection in the window pane.
Acá está la figura. Okay, let's go to sleep. Literal. Vamos a dormir in-game.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close your eyes.
It's time to sleep, guys.
And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening. Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colors. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. It's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming.
¿Y esto? No recuerdo. ¿Qué sale en esto? Oh, that's me. Ese soy yo. Delightful.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
¿Qué ¿Qué es esto? No recuerdo nada. Es un hospital al que la gente va a morir.
You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Tell me, do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
¿Mano de quién? Dime qué está pasando, no puedo responder técnica quién eres. La dejé, me dejó. ¿Mano de quién?
Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth?
No voy a responder técnica quién eres.
You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? Oh no, Funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. Or you just stood there, with one hand on the bottle and the other on your dick, watching it go. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Islas. On the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people. And you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. No, you haven't. You're just sleep-talking. And the act is wearing thin, too. The spots on the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit, thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding? You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
Dios, ¿hay otro tipo?
Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
No sé qué es ese sistema límbico, la verdad. Buen día, Harry.
Good going, buddy.
Hostia puta, ¿qué coño ha sido eso?
Oh, just a dream. You have ones like that all the time. You feel even worse this morning than you did last night. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think.
No, that's it. Yo me encuentro petente.
That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor?
No sé, levantándome.
You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago. With me. To wake up exactly 7:30 every morning until the day you die. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple.
Necesito más ejercer, es mi vida.
Of course. Martinez is speed central. You just gotta poke around. Follow your nose. You and Speed will be happy again. You will make her come home. This time, it will be different.
No, eso va a terminar muy mal. I am going to die. Bueno, vamos a guardar acá. Mañana en la tarde voy a continuar un poco más, así que vamos a dormir más en el juego y en la vida real. Va, después ya dormí técnicamente, pero bueno, ustedes me entienden. Así que sí, mañana en la tarde voy a jugar un poco más y estoy muerto, así que ya, a dormir de una, sin más que decir. Bye bye.